Now to start from scratch, the first thing that we want to do is create a new project, and we'll do that from inside of Visual Studio. So now I'm going to tab over to Visual Studio, which I already have open. We need to create a new project, and you can do that by opening up the File menu, choosing New, and then choosing Project. Now make sure that over on the left-hand column where it says Project Types that you've selected .NET Framework 3.0. And then over on the right-hand side you have a number of templates that you can choose from. And I want to take a minute and tell you about each of these templates. If for some reason you don't see .NET Framework 3.0 or you don't have the templates installed, then it might be that you haven't properly installed the Visual Studio extensions for .NET Framework 3.0. The first template that we're going to look at is Windows Application. And this project will actually create a regular Windows app, a standard.exe that will be the host to all of your content. The other thing to know about a standard Windows application is that this application will run in full trust. And that means that this application will have access to everything that the user who's running it has access to. That means that the application can do things like access the file system or access the internet. The next option is the XAML browser application. And this is kind of a unique application type that was designed to run inside of the browser. Now, it's IE only, but Firefox support is coming. It should be available in future versions of WPF. People generally call these XBAPs, and the reason for that is because of the type of file that's created. It's an XBAP, and that stands for XAML Browser Application. The best way to think of an XBAP is like a .exe that runs inside of the browser. It runs in the browser, though, as a hosted surface, so there's no integration with HTML or other browser technologies. The main thing that you get is the ability to be inside of the browser, have access to the browser navigation controls like the forward and backward button, as well as the address bar. And finally, an XBAP can be hosted on a server, and someone can actually navigate their browser to it and begin running the XBAP from that site. Something that's unique about an XBAP is it doesn't run in full trust, it runs in partial trust. And that means that the application is essentially running inside of a sandbox. The advantage of that is that anything that's running inside of the browser can be considered safe by the user, and there's no need to prompt the user about security. But it also means that the application can't access things like the file system. Now the last type here is a custom control library. And the thing that's unique about this is it doesn't compile to an executable type. It compiles to a DLL, or what we sometimes call an assembly. And that means that it can't be executed on its own. So generally when you create a custom control library, you need to use it in conjunction with another application that can be executed, like an exe or an XBAP. Okay, so for our media player, for our music player, we want to use the Windows application template because we're going to create a regular Windows app. The last thing that we want to do before we create this is set a couple of the other parameters associated with this project. The first of these is the name, and you can call it whatever you want, but for our project we're going to call it Music Player. Now the other thing that we need to do is specify the location where this project is going to be created, and we can do that in the location bar. If you want to follow along with us, go ahead and create this